she basically said, mind your own business. And then she went after Ozzy Osbourne because Ozzy was recently doing an interview and basically said, he goes, I'm so sick and tired of Britney Spears and her dance videos, and basically called them nauseating. And so she then said I'm going to do a photo shoot with Kate and tell the Osbourne family, who is the most boring family known to man, to kindly F off.
Good morning, San Francisco. Hi, I'm Danny Tanner. Over there on the West Coast is Rebecca Donaldson. Now, what am I saying, the West Coast? Welcome to the Hollywood Raw podcast. My name's Adam Glyn. Over there is Dax Holt. 2 out of 2 people of the Hollywood Raw podcast in Nebraska is Cam, our producer, because there's a lot of celebrities going on in Nebraska, and we have Cam, our producer, making sure they're all I don't know, make sure they're all behaving. I don't know. What's in like Nebraska? Teen Mom? I don't know. Maybe
I'm sure there's a Teen Mom. Oh, we who is Talon Torriero?
Yeah. Warren Buffett.
He's out there.
Shout out to Cam, our producer. Welcome to the Hollywood Raw podcast. In the middle of the week, we usually do an interview where we talk to each other. This week we had a kind of reflection. We'll kind of talk about it a little bit. This week on Fridays, we drop our top 10 stories of the week. How do we find our top 10 stories? It goes on data. It goes on Google search. And lastly, it goes a small percentage of what we kind of think should be in there. But honestly, it goes by the data. It goes what people click on. It goes what people are reading on, just like what every single media outlet does. They kind of dig on. They're looking up the stats to see what people are doing. When I opened the show today, I said, good morning, San Francisco. Wake up, San Francisco. I say that because I ran into Uncle Jesse yesterday, Dax, John Stamos. Nice guy, by the way. Very skinny, but nice guy. But it made me think about Full House, the TV show. And that show, Dax, what a unique, weird show. We never really questioned them living in San Francisco, which is one of the most expensive places to live. However, it's sort of understandable because it was just weird that Danny Tanner is a morning show host, and his other co-star, his other co-host lives in the same house with them. They live in the attic. He lives in one room, which I don't even think we ever saw his bedroom. We always saw. How
many rooms did that house have? It was like, I felt like it was never-ending rooms in that house.
It was an apartment building. It was so many rooms that house had. I mean, Joey lived in the basement. I mean, for that house to even have a basement, which is sort of unique and weird.
Sorry, what California house has a basement, by the way?
Yeah.
That's not happening.
And then all of a sudden, Uncle Jesse and Rebecca have twins, and they still stay in the attic. They're like, "Oh yeah, I'm like, guys, how is this house staying clean? How are you guys all able to fit in the kitchen? What a random house!" And they are able to make that work.
You know what's funny when we talk about this kind of stuff is like, to us, this is normal conversation. If someone young is listening to this right now, they're like, what are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? I had a conversation the other day because I was a guest on Kiddo Kalen's podcast. It's probably coming out this week or something. And one of the employees at my office, she's younger. She's like, I don't know, 20 or something like that. And I said, okay, I'm just going to go do this podcast with Kiddo Kalen. And she's like, who? And I'm like, you know what? I'm not even going to go explain who this is. You're way too young. You have just carry on. And you realize, like, you're really getting old. You're becoming your parents this. You become your parents throughout time. Like, I look at, even my body. I look at my legs. I'm like, I have my dad's legs now. It's so weird, dude.
Yeah, that's your dad's legs. Speaking of which, Kiddo Kalen, Dax, you understand why people like them when you talk to him.
Oh, I mean,
you've got, like he's like a fun, cool guy. Like when he's got good energy. If you're in a room with him, you understand why celebrities kind of were attracted to him. They gravitate to him. He was good energy. He was fun, and he was just like a fun person to have around. Weird. I saw John Stamos yesterday, Dax, because I saw Shaq was on Good Morning America, and I have a relationship with Shaq, but I have a relationship with Shaq. I'm always like afraid to like reach out to him and his team because I a guy like Shaq, I have to imagine, is getting hit up by so many people that I don't want to be. I always say I want to be the fart that doesn't stink. I don't want to bother them. I don't want to be, oh, this guy again. I'd rather be just cool, sort of like Kato Kalin, you know? So he was doing Good Morning America, and I went out there. I got there at 7 a.m, and I went outside with the paparazzi and the fans with my camera out just to see Shaq going in and get a quick interview and let him go do his thing. And it's happened before, but his car pulls up, the paparazzi pulls up the camera, and all of a sudden Shaq's hand comes out the window. And you see a big hand come out and do like motions for come here, come here. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure he's talking to me, but the ABC security doesn't really know that. And there's a lot more security than usual these days at these TV shows with these people. So I kind of walk towards the car, and Shaq, the people are like, the security's like, stand back, go back. And he's like, no, he's with me. And I go up to Shaq, and he's like, yo, why didn't you meet me at the hotel? I was like, dude, I didn't know. I didn't know what to do. I didn't call you. I just kind of like came to Good Morning America. He's like, just here, he's with me. So like we dab, we say high five, we say what's up. And then I get like paparazzi shooting me going into Good Morning America. And actually it's funny, the paparazzi photos say Shaquille O'Neal and Adam Glyn going into Good Morning America, which is hysterical. It's hysterical because I'm such a nobody. But so funny. So we go to Good Morning America, and it's funny because before Shaq got there, John Stamos got there. And again, I didn't know I was going inside. So I kind of like asked on camera John Stamos questions, and he was like nice. And he's one of those guys where first of all, super nice guy, very nice, just a really pleasant person. Every time I've met him, just like a very pleasant guy, very sweet guy. But he looks at me like he feels like he knows me. Maybe he saw me on TMZ. He used to see me on TMZ. I maybe watched it a few times. I don't know. It's just, but then I go inside with Shaq, and then he sees me with Shaq, and then he's like, huh? Like he's like confused by the entire thing. Like, what is going on? Like, how do I know you? What is going on? And we go, he does Good Morning America, and Shaq the entire time is like, no, he's with me. Like I want my guy with me. I want my guy. So like I'm on the set of Good Morning America with like George Stephanopoulos and stuff like that, like walking behind the cameras. And Shaq, I just like filmed video for Shaq and kind of made like a social video, which he posted. But like I'm behind the scenes at Good Morning America. And then his agent's like, you going to be with us all day? And Shaq goes, yeah, he's coming with us all day. I'm like, oh, okay. So I just kind of started shooting video on my Shaq and my phone. I was being like a social guy. Like I wanted to make a fun, cool video of him of his day kind of because he likes social media. Yeah. And I did this video for him, and he comes outside, the paparazzi shooting us, and I'm like right next to him as the paparazzi is shooting him. And afterwards, he's like, as soon as we get done, I figured like he's going to do live with Kelly next. Yeah. And I figured I would just meet him there. You know, I was like, I'll just meet you there. He's like, yo, get in the car. I'm like, okay. So it's just me. You're and Shaq, but I'm double
parked outside. I can't.
I parked somewhere else, and I rode my bike. I rode a city bike up there, but I jumped in the car with him. We ride up to Live with Kelly. We go in the garage. And then I've never been at Live with Kelly, which you have been. I never realized how small that studio is at Live with Kelly. It is tiny. It's tight. But we go there, and I asked the producer who's also on the show, and they said Glenn Powell. I was like, oh. And I was like, and Shaq like was familiar with him, but not too familiar. I was like, Shaq, you should meet Glenn Powell. He's a very big star right now. And Glenn Powell, super nice guy, came to the green room, very like, no ego, just like happy to be there. Just like was really excited to meet Shaq, and very nice to meet. Came to the green by himself, now with his team. Just like a nice guy. But then he did Live with Kelly. I got to like watch the interview. I didn't meet Kelly or Mark, but I saw them kind of doing the show, and I kind of sat in the crowd. It was actually a cool experience. It was very quick. I mean, it's so crazy. Like they get the show's at 9 a.m. Eastern time. He gets there like 9:05 Eastern time. Like he's like in and out so quick. I'm like, dude, you just did like a major TV show. And for him, it's like effortless. He doesn't even think about it. Like he's messing with the people before he goes on. Like it's so like him just like he just like eating a banana, just like just messing around. And then he had to go do The View. So we go to The View. We're walking through the building. And it's so funny to see.
Doing all of these shows in one day. My God, that is a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, but it's sort of like standard for these people. It's like a media day for them, but they're pros. They know how to handle it. But then Shaq has to go do The View. So he walks through the building to go to The View. And just funny to see like the office people be like, Shaq. Like, it's just a cool person to see walking the halls, you know?
So fun.
And it's not like Michael Strahan. But then we go to the View, and he had like an hour like gap, and he was like bored. He just goes to sleep in his dressing room, the green room at the View. And then like right before he goes on, they wake him up, and like within 3 minutes, he goes on live TV. It's like he just sleeps for an hour, wakes up, is like, oh, I'm going to go on live TV. And then I went to the bank with him. Then I was like, all right, I got to go. I feel like I'm just being too much. So I don't know. It was a really cool day with Shaq. If you go on his social media, maybe I'll post in our private Facebook group off the record of my sort of day with him.
With Shaq.
Yeah, just he's the best. He's such a good guy. All right, that was I just had to get that off my chest because I'm like reflecting on it a little bit, and it's just one of those things that
what a fun
cool
freaking day.
It's
very
so
lucky
cool
to have that friendship.
I'm so incredibly lucky to have a friendship, and he's just such a good person. In fact, actually, two stories that happened yesterday, Dax. So when he leaves Good Morning America, like he goes over to the fans and signs a few autographs. A woman gives him a note, and we get into the car, and he goes, "Hey, read me the note. I don't have the glasses." And the woman saying that she's a young mom, she has a troubled son, he needs a mentor in his life, and she would love to see if he could help out. And he goes, "Where'd she live?" New York. He goes, "You know what?" He goes, "I would love to help her out." And he said to me, "I would love to help her out." I was like, "I'm just not in New York." But he was like, "Save the note. Maybe I'll try to like reach out to him, make a phone call, and just see if I could brighten the day a little bit." But like, just even think about that, like, hey, maybe I could help them out. And then all of a sudden, when we got back from the View, when he got done doing the tip in the View, we were walking the halls, and there was two kids with their father who wanted to get a photo with Shaq, and Shaq just gives them money. Just gave him like $100 and said, "Hey guys, here's some money. Take your dad out for lunch today."
He's just literally the nicest guy. He's so dope.
It's those things that you don't see, that like he's not looking for the attention. Like it's not like, people picked it up, but it's insane because it's genuine. It's just so genuine how he is and who he is. And even after actually he did the View, he did a quick interview for Dateline. And afterwards, he went to the camera guys and audio person, just thanked them and like made sure to thank them in front of their boss and say, "Hey, you guys did a great job." And like, it's those little things that go so far. Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
I love it.
Yeah.
Shaq's
All right.
the best.
Let's get to our top 10 stories of the week. Actually, before we get to our top 10 stories of the week, we read reviews. We read them in the morning when we wake up. We read them before we go to sleep because we have low self-esteem when we want to keep them up. So they kind of help us out a little bit. Dax, do you have a review ready for us of the podcast?
All right. I got one. This one's from GGVF, 5 stars. It is titled Podcast. I have to tell you how much I enjoy your podcast. I heard you on Juicy Scoop and subscribed right away. You are both good together and honest with your opinions. Good stuff. Thanks, Gigi.
Thank you, Gigi. Very sweet.
The kind of perfect kind of little review I like. Just short, Gigi. Sweet, and beautiful.
And if you only know how much that really benefits us, really appreciate it. Very sweet, very nice. And we enjoy doing this. We enjoy chit-chatting with each other. I think we have a good show. Dax, right? We got to keep it going.
It's decent.
It's decent. That's a good show. All right, let's get to our top 10 stories of the week, starting with number 10.
Catch Me Outside girl, Bhad Bhabie. She flaunted that she is making a ton of money on OnlyFans. She joined OnlyFans a couple years ago, back in 2021. Has been very popular on the platform, and she flaunted that she has made $57 million since joining OnlyFans. Like, I had no idea this girl was raking in so much money, but she actually posted a little like look at the analytics from her OnlyFans page, and I've got it right here. But basically, it showed a breakdown of each month how much she's making. But so, like November 2021, $800,000. October, $1 million. I mean, she's making millions and millions. By April of 2021, $18 million for that month. Absolutely ridiculous. But it basically said overall she made $73 million, but obviously after taxes and fees and all of that, she then ended up taking home $57 million. Did you have any clue she was worth that much money?
I had no idea, but you know what's weird? It's like she sort of quietly like kind of does her thing. And I don't think she like needs to kind of put herself in like the attention, because she's like, screw that. Like, I don't need to kind of draw attention to me and kind of risk I'm quietly making a lot of money. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I hate to say good on her. I'm sort of curious what she does on her OnlyFans now. Like, I don't know if she's nude or what she does, but
Yeah, I'm
I
not
mean,
sure
I'm not
what
going to
her
sign
thing
up
is,
by any means.
but I guess she makes a lot of money with like messages on there. She's made like a bulk of it from the messages on there.
Guys are creeps, huh? And people are creepy. Let's be honest. It's
Yeah,
bunch
it
of creeps
said
out here.
so. Subscriptions, she's made $32 million off subscriptions, which it says her current price is $23.99 per month, and then fan messages can cost up to $50 each. She's made $24 million off of messages that I don't know if it's messages that she sends to people or messages that they send to her. I'm not sure, but $24 million from all of that.
Dude, people are creepy.
Oh,
People are
sorry, I
really
lied. 32 million from messages, 24 million from subscriptions. I switched those two numbers around.
You know
Still
how many
wild.
serious people, serious actors have worked their whole life and just like, man, all I had to do is just show something and I could have made a lot of money.
That's the wild thing of how much money people are able to make on OnlyFans, because she's one of the hundreds and of thousands of creators that are on that platform, right? Like, we know a lot of big celebrities that have now joined that platform and they're just raking in cash.
Yeah, but are they really, like, here's the thing. She showed her numbers. Is Denise Richards really making this type of money? Because she's not really getting naked on there.
Yeah.
So Drea De Matteo, how many people keep signing up? She might have made 20,000 for 1 month, but is that money substantial? Is it going to keep coming in? How many people are going to be like, all right, I saw I need to see. I don't need to keep paying a monthly subscription to see Drea Matteo. I don't know if she's fully nude, but I don't know. People are creepy.
Should we have a OnlyFans Hollywood Raw version? Would people want to just watch us talk?
We'll do it shirtless. How about that? We'll do the podcast
Shirtless
without a shirt on.
OnlyFans?
Yeah, let us know, guys. And
Can we be standing up so I'm not all like just flabby sitting down?
it just looks like your stomach's just hanging there, just like sitting there.
Oh God,
yeah, that would do. All right, Dax, number 9.
All right, number 9, Tom Sandoval suing Ariana Maddox for basically accessing explicit videos of Rachel. Is it Rachel or Raquel? Like, what the hell is her name these days?
Raquel, Rachel, I don't know.
I think she changed it to Rachel now. I don't freaking know.
Okay.
But basically going in and finding videos of Rachel without authorization. So Tom Sandoval is, he has to go to court and basically file this lawsuit saying that she obtained access to videos, explicit videos on his phone. There was no permission granted. And, we've seen a lot of this drama play out in season 10 of Bravo's Vanderpump Rules. But this is also pissing off a lot of fans. They're like, you were the creep, you were the bad guy, and now you're suing her. Like, what the hell is going on? Well, Maddox's attorney, Jordan Sussman, responded to the claims, and he basically said it's abhorrent that Tom Sandoval continues to torment Miss Maddox from engaging in an illicit affair that shattered her home and stability to months of emotional welfare, and now at this attempt to further skirt personal responsibility for the effects of his actions have had on her and her emotional well-being. Tom Sandoval knows full well that what sort of privileges he and Miss Maddox shared in regard to their personal communication devices. He continued, if he or his mistress had their way, it would be illegal for someone to discover their spouse or significant other was having an affair. So it basically goes on to say he's the creepo. Well, here's the crazy part. Tom Sandoval's attorney is Matthew Garagos, right? His brother is Rachel's attorney, Mark Garagos. I'm like, oh, damn, this is all a crazy thing. But basically, Tom Sandoval's attorney puts out a statement and says, while Tom Sandoval accepts responsibility for his affair, he strongly denies the allegations of the lawsuit. So here's what I got to get you caught up on. Rachel, has also filed a lawsuit against Tom and Ariana, basically saying that they ruined her life and made her look bad and all this stuff. So now Tom has to counterfile a lawsuit to kind of clear his name. I mean, this is a jumbled mess, and I can't tell if all of them are now at this point where they just want to extend the drama because it keeps the storyline hot and heavy for people.
Yeah. And that's First of all, it's one of those things where just file a lawsuit. What does it really cost you? I mean, the lawyers are getting their kind of plug, their credit. It's just, why not, to kind of keep the storyline going afloat? Is it kind of, I don't know, because me personally, I think that storyline has kind of fell flat a little bit. No one's really talking about it as much.
It's not that it's flat; it's that I'm just over it. Like
I'm over it. They squeeze as much water out of the sponge as possible. There's nothing else you could really do. With that said, do you think Tom, when you first read about this lawsuit, does Tom have a legit case regarding this?
So because Raquel's lawsuit, basically it comes down to she was suing them for eavesdropping, for revenge porn, for all these things. I think he actually had to file this lawsuit as a way to say, no, that wasn't supposed to be out there. I'm not at fault for that being out there. She was the one that grabbed the phone, got the videos. Like, he didn't have any responsibility in that getting out there. So I think he kind of had to at this point. I don't think it was for him to make anyone look bad. I think by the way his lawyer stated, it was necessary based on the other lawsuit coming out.
Yeah. Have you met Tom? You've met Tom, right?
I've met Tom.
Someone asked me yesterday, they're like, how is Tom? If someone asked you, how is Tom, how would you answer?
Fine. Like, I didn't walk away from my interaction being like, well, that's the coolest dude ever, or he's the douchiest dude ever. Like, it was just like, the reality star. I met a shit ton of reality stars in my life. So it takes a lot to really impress me with a reality star. Like, when I met Snooki, she seemed like super dope, fun, crazy. Like, I got why she has become so famous.
Yeah.
I don't know. What's your thoughts? You've met him.
No, I've met a few times. He's one of those guys. He's nice. He's cool. He's chill. He's sort of like, he's sort of funny because I don't think he realizes, like, he's sort of like in his own dream of who he is. Like, I think he really thinks he's like Zach Morris and Uncle Jesse, like this. Like, it's just like funny to see him in his element. Like, his feet aren't on the ground. With that said, he's not a bad guy. I mean, to me, he was a nice guy. Like, he was fine, but it's just he's a character to me.
But do you see how it's like, it's fine, like nothing really to write home about.
Maybe we didn't vibe well because he's really into his music, and I'm just not a music person. But it was, there's nothing wrong with him by any means, at least personally. Like, but he's like a character to me in some ways. He's just a character. Like, he's a character. But some people, I have characters in my life who I like being around. So, I kind of enjoyed it. My experiences with him.
All right. Well, as quickly as we reported that lawsuit, it has now already gone away. There is a new report on TMZ saying that Tom Sandoval has now nixed the lawsuit against Ariana. He said he did not mean to sue did not mean to sue her by releasing this lawsuit. And so he is now withdrawing the lawsuit, putting the blame solely on his lawyers. He went on social media on Thursday to clear up all this legal action against her, where he countersued her in the case where Rachel Leviss brought against him and Ariana regarding the alleged revenge porn, and made it clear that this whole lawsuit was one big mistake, didn't mean to do it. Tom basically claims that one of his attorneys told him about this cross complaint and allegedly told him that it was just like a customary thing to do, and that Tom, I guess, was urged to sign it. And so he said he did it unwillingly, but then went on to say, in the words, new lawsuit or suing were not articulated to me. I should have done more due diligence on the matter. And then upon realizing what had been done, he booted his lawyer in question. He went on to add that I'm in no way suing Ariana. The action against Ariana brought on my behalf is being removed. I have no ill will or vindictiveness toward Ariana. He finished by saying that he's reversing the filing and hoping to get this case, really pushed through a lot quicker. I think Ariana also wants this done. Anyway, so that is where we're at now. It looks like sued, unsued, and they're going to move forward with this. All right, there you go.
All right, Dax, number 8.
Justin Long admitted that he once pooped in the bed right next to his sleeping wife, Kate Bosworth. So this story came out this week, and it is pretty damn embarrassing for him, but also a pretty awesome story. So Justin appeared on the Pie with Kurt Sutter and Katie Seagal podcast, and this aired on Tuesday. And during the chat, he said that, look, I love my wife. She's put up with a lot. And he said that there was once basically a day that he was in Mexico. He contracted food poisoning on the trip, and he couldn't keep anything inside of him. Well, he ended up, I guess, waking up, and it was reeking in bed. He was hooked up to an IV because of the food poisoning. And he said, I had basically crapped myself in the bed. And there was no other way to like skirt around the issue. He looked over at Kate and he was like, I pooped myself. I crapped the bed. And he said that she was so kind. She didn't judge him. She didn't look disgusted. She just did what she did.
For a month. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, listen, it's cool. It's fine. I'm just going to kiss you. I'm not going to kiss you for a month.
He basically said that she was like 2 feet away from him, holding his IV bag while he was cleaning everything up. And she said, get in the shower. And he was just like, that moment I look back on, and he goes, that's when I knew that I was like in love with this woman, because there was no judgment that, and he goes, it's really nice to feel that level of comfort with someone, that you could crap the bed and they could still love you just as much in that moment as they do every other moment of the day. So it actually turned into like a really sappy love story, which I kind of liked. Who knew that poop could bring them together?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, before people do PR and do like these interviews, I feel like you have to like have like a luggage of like these personal stories that is going to make news. Like when you say a story like that, it's going to get picked up. People are going to talk about that. So it's like, how low are you looking to go? Is it too much information? I mean, I don't care. I mean, listen, we all like to poop in the bed sometimes with our partner. It's kind of fun. It shakes things up a little bit, spices the room up a little bit. But it's one of those things where was he like, all right, now's the time where I put this story because it's going to be fun and get some attention to what I'm working on, whether my podcast, whether project he's promoting.
Here's was the exact quote. He goes, in the middle of everything, he goes, she was not judging, not making me feel weird or bad. I just felt so lucky. He said, I was shitting my brains out and she was looking at me lovingly. And I thought, this is really romantic.
Yeah, it's sweet. It's really nice that they could bond.
Guys out there, find yourself a Kate Bosworth.
Yeah, what a sweet person. Makes you like her more. And know what I'm going to do next time I see her? I'm going to tell her that in the middle of my interview, I'm going to let her know that I shit my pants, and see if she acts to me as sweet as she did to him. If I see her and I just start shitting my pants, I'm going to say, listen, I just want to let you know, in the middle of this interview, I shit my pants, stay calm, and then see how she treats me.
Or do it in front of Justin. Be like, I just pooped my pants. Are you going to treat me like your wife did to you?
Yeah. Listen, I just pooped my pants. High five. Let's bond over something. Dax, number 7.
Number 7, and Joe Manganiello. Not exactly agreeing with his ex-wife, Sofia Vergara, on the explanation of why their marriage didn't work out. You remember, I think we brought it up on one of the recent Raw Rundowns, that she had told an outlet that basically the marriage broke up because her husband was younger. He wanted to have kids. She did not. She didn't want to be an old mom. Well, now Joe did an interview with Men's Journal on Tuesday, and he basically said, listen, that is not exactly the characterization of the divorce that I want. He said, it's just simply not true. The issue of having children wasn't inevitably why everything ended. It's because 2 people grew apart, and sometimes that happened. He said, but to be painted as if I had some sort of midlife crisis, and after 9 years turned to someone and gave them an ultimatum of do this potentially unhealthy thing to your body or I'm gone, that's never who I was. He said, we did try to have a family, and for the first year and a half, we had this huge conversation right out of the gate during the first month we dated. I said, if you're done with kids, then I understand. Just tell me. I'll just know this is it, and that's okay. but that wasn't the case with her. And I swore to her that I would never leave it if it didn't work out. And I didn't. And then he then went on to say, she's ready to be a grandmother and not a mother. Or no, that's what she said. There was one more quote in here that I thought was really interesting. And of course I can't find it because I'm on the spot right now.
Here's the thing is that I'll tell you what, I just felt when you heard they got divorced and you see what happened, they kind of moved on pretty quick, that they really, they're not going to stay friends. And it was a little bit more darker of a relationship than you thought, especially like how they ended. He's a big dude. I mean, she's big in it. Like she's a larger, not even a large woman. I mean, but she's like she's pretty, very pretty. But like they kind of if they walked in the room, like, oh, that's a big couple, just because he's so big and she's not like a small petite girl. But she's not saying she's a big girl by any means. But I felt like when it was announced their divorce that it was a little bit, there was more there than we know. And there wasn't like, oh, we're just going our separate ways. No, that's not how it ended. It sounded like there was some anger towards each other. And I think Joe wanted to kind of clear the air a little bit or get his point out there, perspective out there.
It's made him look bad because a lot of people are like, wait, you're making your wife have a baby when she doesn't want to. And I think he just didn't like the narrative surrounding it. I mean, listen, everyone has their own beliefs or truths when they get a divorce. And I think you see it differently. And I think that's the reason that they're not together anymore, because they weren't on the same page. So I'm not really surprised that even the story's coming out afterwards. But I also feel like, damn, that divorce was so long ago. Why are we still talking about it?
Yeah.
Like he's now dating Caitlin O'Connor and he's kind of moved on with his life. Like I also got to feel, if you're Caitlin O'Connor, you're like, damn, that was so long ago. Media, stop covering that. We're together. We've been together for a while. Like, enough.
Yeah. Dax, number 6.
Britney Spears making some headlines this week. She kind of went after Ozzy Osbourne, but also defended Kate Beckinsale. So she went on her Instagram. Shocker, shocker. And
wait, so you're saying Britney defended not Kate Bosworth. What's her name? Kate Beckinsale. That's because Kate Beckinsale's been putting some little bit of wild posts lately.
Well, I want to say it was
the window.
Yeah, I think it was last week we talked about how she was telling people to kiss her ass because they didn't like that she is not being age appropriate, is what people keep saying. Like, you are wearing these tiny little outfits, you're wearing these big bows. And she basically said, what does it matter what I want to wear, what I want to do on my Instagram? She's like, enough. I don't care what you people think. And this is also the same mindset that Britney Spears has had, is like, if I want to get naked and dance around on my Instagram, like, that's what I want to do. That's what makes me feel good, whether or not it makes you feel uncomfortable. So Britney's post said, have you guys seen the movie Serendipity with Kate Beckinsale? Well, let me tell you, if you haven't, you definitely should. I adore Kate Beckinsale, especially because she's from London. I realized how incredibly cruel people were talking about her on IG, saying that she needs to more age-appropriate content. She's in her 50s. And I thought it was pretty badass how she responded with a mini bow in her hair and literally looking 4 years old. I'm not sure that's a good thing, but okay. Not as bad as some of my comments saying it's sad that I'm as old as I am. I'm dancing every single day on IG. Number 1, I hardly ever dance. Number 2, I'm not. Oh, man, I can't read the rest of it. It's on IG. Anyway, she stood up for her. She basically said, mind your own business. And then she went after Ozzy Osbourne. Because Ozzy was recently doing an interview and basically said, he goes, I'm so sick and tired of Britney Spears and her dance videos, and basically called them nauseating. And so she then said I'm going to do a photo shoot with Kate and tell the Osbourne family, who is the most boring family known to man, to kindly F off. So anyway, Britney making some more headlines. Clearly she doesn't like the haters, but yet, I mean, she keeps putting up content that is, she knows she's going to get a reaction from people with.
But is that what she's trying? Like, the point of this, when I post something, I try to say, like, what's my point? Why would I post that? Like, I don't post that much, but if I post it, it's just sort of more like work related.
Yeah.
when she does the post she does, like, what is her thought process? That's what I'm just curious about. Like, what made you think that you should post this? What made you thought this was, I'm not going to say like,
I don't think she's thinking about necessarily what are other people. I think she's going, this is making me feel good. I feel sexy. I like my dance moves. I like feeling free or whatever it is. And she's putting it up. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of times that I watch those videos and I feel like something is not right or that things are off. But it's her. It's her content. She wants to feel sexy. She wants to post away. I'm concerned overall for Britney's mental stability.
yeah, I'm still Team Ozzy here. I'm Team Ozzy here. I'm
Are
over
you
watching
nauseated by the content or something? I'm not.
It's just not
I'm
I'm not
nauseated.
I'm just like I don't watch it.
Yeah.
It's the same thing to me. But if it makes her feel good, like you said, and that's a good perspective, Dax, if it makes her feel sexy and good and strong and ambitious and free, then go for it. But I'm still going to question your mental health.
Yeah.
So
all right, moving on.
Moving on, number 5.
Tenacious D, Kyle Gass, getting dropped by his agent after a very controversial Trump joke while he was in Sydney, Australia. So Tenacious D, they had been on tour and they were going around. And while they were in Sydney, Tenacious D was on stage and basically Kyle made this joke about the shooter shouldn't have missed, right? Like the Trump assassination, a shooter shouldn't have missed. And a lot of people in the audience were like, whoa, like, it's one thing to have a huge news story, but you can't wish death upon someone, even if they're a political rival of yours, right? So the joke did not go over well. And actually, Jack Black had basically went and said, we are canceling all the remaining of our tours and putting a pause on future creative plans. Jack said that he was completely blindsided by the comment. So he is even distancing himself from Kyle and that comment. And I think, and now the agent letting him go. So basically a pretty big fallout from a comment that I don't think he thought through clearly. He even said himself, he put out a statement apologizing on social media. He said, the line I improvised on stage Sunday night in Sydney was highly inappropriate, dangerous, and a terrible mistake. I don't condone violence of any kind, any form against anyone. What happened was a tragedy. I'm incredibly sorry for my severe lack of judgment. I profoundly apologize to those I've let down and truly regret the pain I have caused. So I don't know if you're going to see them.
I will say this. I think that's a really good apology. Listen, there's got to be some consequences, unfortunately, with it. But as far as a statement goes, I thought that was a good apology.
Yeah.
It sounded genuine. I don't know. It sounded genuine to me.
I say a lot of stupid crap myself, and I say stuff that I think is going to be funny in the moment. I'm really glad that I don't have cameras on me all the time, because I feel like most people, you say a joke and the outcome from any joke could be bad. We have the luxury of being able to edit our podcast because we've said dumb shit that we're like, was that funny or no, that crossed the line? Like, we get an opportunity to edit ourselves where some of these people on live TV do not.
Yeah, it's tough. It's definitely tough. And it's tough to not say things you don't regret. We even do it on this podcast. Sometimes we're trying to, and the question is, was he trying to go for a joke? Was he not? They acted on it right away, and I have to give Jack Black credit. I have to give even Kyle credit, for what it is. I mean, he apologized right away. He's not fighting it. It's a shitty situation overall. And I understand for everything. It stinks, bottom line. So regardless of what political side you're on, I think it's just one of those things.
You can't joke about someone's life at the end of the day.
But the question is, when can you joke about something like that? When can we start joking about the Trump?
No. I think you can joke about the situation. You can't joke about saying like he should have got killed. Like I think that's the line. Like there's a lot of jokes to be made just because it's a situation that has made international news. It's the biggest story of the week. Like I would expect Saturday Night Live to do something, you know what I'm saying? But what you can't do is cross the line and say someone should be dead. They should have shot him. Like that's not okay.
Yeah. It's different. So making fun and having fun and then saying statements. There's three to that. Dax, number 4.
Marcucio Umansky sharing a passionate kiss with this blonde lady in Mykonos. So basically there was a video that came out this week where he landed in Mykonos and he is on vacation with a mystery blonde lady, and she looks like she is wearing her bathing suit and a little see-through cover-up that she met him at the airport. I need to know, Adam, did you see the video online?
I did.
Question for you. Was this a setup? Because Mykonos is not necessarily a paparazzi hotbed where paparazzi are hanging out at the airport. Or is this one of those situations where someone was on the flight with him and they happen to get off and be like, oh my God, Mauricio's here. And so they're filming him and they sold this to an agency and that's why it's out.
So 2 things. First of all, we don't know. Me and you and I don't know. If I look up the person who shot the photo, actually I didn't do that.
Coleman Rainer is a paparazzi agency.
Okay, so I have to imagine that someone set them up. Maybe she did. Maybe she set it up, because the average person doesn't know who these paparazzi agencies are. Yeah,
but also Coleman Rainer, like that seems it almost would have to be someone that they know and then send it in, because I don't see a paparazzi agency sending someone from the US all the way over there to get the shots. Like he's not that big of a star. So
you're telling me so what is again, we don't know. We're just playing from our experience, and me and you have both a lot of experience in this. When you see this, do you think this is a setup? Do you think there's someone on the plane? Do you think that maybe this girl maybe set Mauricio up? What is your thoughts?
It's tough because the video is not very long. So that makes me think, was it just a person on the plane who was a fan who started recording and it just happened to get in the hands of a paparazzi agency? You know how we're going to know is if there's more photos of them over the next couple days. If there's photos of them on the beach, relaxing, I'm going to say for sure it's a setup. And the reason is because he is not a big enough star to have that kind of paparazzi attention. That's why. And we don't get a lot of photos from Mykonos. Like that is not a hotbed of paparazzi.
Yeah, that's a good point. So you have to wait to see how this thing came afloat. But I think this is also the evidence, the photo we needed to show that Mauricio and Kyle have really moved on.
Well, didn't he date his Dancing with the Star?
Yeah, but there were rumors saw like the photos.
Him and Emma.
We saw them like hanging out at night, like leaving a dinner together. They looked a little cozy, but we just never saw the shots of like, okay, these two have moved on. I mean, we've seen the photos of Kyle with the other country singer, the female country singer. Is she with a woman now? But I think this is just what we needed to kind of say, like they are. Yeah, they're doing their thing separately. So,
and she's denied all the rumors of her and Morgan Wade. Together, more publicity stunt for her music video and all that. Okay, anyway,
Dax, number 3.
Bobby Altoff, the podcast host that has gained massive superstardom, I would say, is now addressing speculation she's been having sex with her male celebrity podcast guests after those whole Drake rumors came out and went like wildfire. She is finally responding. She goes, listen, I never responded to this comment and I've been getting 1 million times a day for the last year, but I'm really sick of seeing it. Anyone who says stuff like that is effing ignorant. you don't know why my marriage. Oh, sorry. She started it off by talking about her marriage because people were blaming her sleeping with her guests for the end of her marriage. So she goes, you don't know why my marriage ended. And we are both so much happier than we were together. And that now that our kids get to see 2 happy parents instead of 0. And then the biggest rumors was that the whole Drake thing. So then she got into that. She goes, I have never slept with someone I interviewed. I don't sleep around and I rarely go out, but you guys can't effing believe that a woman can be around men without sleeping with them. She went on, she goes, it is so frustrating that I can't post a single thing without comments about how I'm being passed around. Go live the lives you deserve and shut the F up. And just because you don't see my kids doesn't mean I don't. You see what I allow you to see. And she goes, like, you don't really believe that I'm in my dream life to be a divorced mom of 2 by 25. Obviously not. I'm obviously insecure about it, and I wish things played out differently in my life, but that's life. Things don't always end up how you expect them. So clearly, the pressure, the comments, the trolls have really been getting under her skin. And, I think that she probably needed to let off this steam. And I appreciate when someone is vulnerable and honest and says, look, like, this isn't my dream life, even though you guys out there kind of seem to think it is. It's not. And I'm doing the best I can.
Yeah, this girl is pretty interesting because she came off very when she first started doing the interviews with Drake and this other comedian, Funny Marco. It was the things that really kind of put her on the map on social because it was a funny interview. She came off very cold, like that. There was that Daria sort of character on MTV back in the day. But now she's doing too much on MTV, not MTV, on social media now, that she's trying to show that she's not a cold person. Where I question, it's sort of it gives out this is my personal opinion. It gives away the mystery on her. With that said, she still has a big team around her. I know she's represented by the same people that represent Chrissy Teigen, so she's got an army around her. They're going to try to make it work.
She should be able to defend herself in that regards. I'm
just talking about personally, but yeah.
It's one thing if you have mystery around you. It's another thing if the world is calling you a slut every 5 minutes. You know what I'm saying? There's got to be that line of, there's mystery, there's intrigue, but every comment, if you go through her comments, half of them about her having sex with Drake, and she's like, God damn, leave that shit alone. It's not even true. Let's focus on my career. Let's focus on my podcast. Let's focus on my interviews rather than what you guys think happened.
Yeah, no, totally agree. I mean, what I was just saying is my personal opinion on her, but yeah, she wants to just set the record straight. Just guys, let's stop. It's not fun. It's not funny. It's more damaging and hurting and painful than anything. So no issues with her kind of setting the record straight. Will people still keep talking and assuming? I'm sure, but let them keep assuming. As long as people there's eyeballs on you and you know what you do and you're making money, what's it? Screw the haters. So, but she's got some good guests. I think she's got a new episode out with Jelly Roll coming out. So she's making the transition away from hip hop people to Jelly Roll, which Jelly Roll's in the thing. By the way, Jelly Roll, nice guy, very nice guy.
Yeah.
All right, that's it. Number 2, Dax.
Oh, you guys definitely saw clips of this week, but that very horrible rendition of the national anthem that was done at the Home Run Derby by Ingrid Andress. She has now come out. She has said, look, I was really drunk and I am now canceling my concerts and I am headed to rehab. Basically, if you go to buy tickets to any of her upcoming shows, tickets are now showing that they're currently unavailable and the event has been canceled by the organizer. I think this was probably one of the worst renditions I've ever heard of the national anthem, but it did get her a lot of publicity. I had never heard her name. I am now talking about her. I mean, I would say last week, you could have pitched out any story about Ingrid and we would have been not a chance. No one knows her. This week, she is one of the number one most Googled things. That video has made the rounds everywhere. Everyone's been talking about it. But her post online was, I'm not going to bullshit, y'all. I was drunk last night. I'm checking myself into a facility today to get the help I need. That was not me last night. I apologize to MLB, all the fans, this country I love so much for that rendition. I'll let you know how rehab is. I hear it's super fun. So
I didn't like that statement. Not a
Why?
good statement. I heard rehab's cool. How'd she wrap that statement? What was the
She
line?
said, I think I heard rehab is fun. I hear, I'll let you know how rehab is. I hear it's super fun.
I mean, that's
You
not what
can't
people go
hear
to
the
rehab for.
inflection, which it could be a joke. Like, I hear it's
Okay, but
super
not
fun.
necessary. You don't want to hear that in that statement. People were offended. And honestly, there's other people that take rehab very serious. Rehab costs a lot of money. People are investing money into their health and their wellness.
Their life.
So I don't know. I don't think that was a great statement to say. I think it would just be, this is what it is, because when you say a statement like that, it's hard for me to say or maybe think that, again, I'm putting on my tinfoil hat these days. If it was politics, it's one thing, but even more now these days than ever. I'm not a big conspiracy guy, Dax, but the conspiracy thoughts come to my head, meaning that this was a PR stunt.
Mm-hmm. Which it would be a great PR stunt.
Would be a great PR stunt, and nothing wrong with that. I mean, listen, this is show business,
Because you know what,
and I get the game.
You know what people don't report on? An amazing national anthem. No one reports on that because that's what you expect. You expect a really good national anthem.
Did you know who this girl was before?
No, I had no idea who she was a week ago. So it puts you in the headlines. It has everyone talking about you. And now that your name is out there, even if it's associated with something bad, people know your name now. And all you can do is come back. Because imagine she comes back, does an amazing national anthem. People will actually report on that because she went from doing a really bad one to a really good one.
But the question is, will they allow her back? Will they give her a second chance to do the national anthem? Or, I mean, it doesn't even matter. Who cares about the national anthem? You know, like, go back on the Tonight Show.
Well, I wouldn't say that. Let's not say who cares about the national anthem.
No, who cares about her singing the national anthem?
Yeah.
And it sounds like, no, I don't want to see her do it the right way. I mean, come on. I don't care. I don't care if you do the national anthem in Spanish. I mean, I'm not offended, but some other people can be offended. But it's hard for me to not think that this was somewhat of a PR stunt, especially after the statement, because again, rehab is a serious thing, and I don't know, take it serious. Like, sound like you're committed, because some people, rehabs are expensive, and I don't know.
And the other people there, it's between life or death for them.
For sure.
If they don't get the help they need, they're potentially going to kill themselves or die.
They're not going there to find out if it's fun.
Yeah.
So, Dax, the number one story of the week.
Well, the number one story of the week, we obviously have to get into the big deaths this week, even though our Wednesday episode, we focused a lot around Shannon Doherty's death, Richard Simmons, Dr. Ruth, all of those. There are some updated stories that we do want to talk about, which was crazy that Richard Simmons actually did an interview 2 days before he died with People magazine. This is the first interview that he has done in 10 years. And he happened to do it right before his death, which is, to me, wild. He was talking to them because he had the interview on his 76th birthday. This was the same day that he slipped in the bathroom and actually hurt himself. By the way, there was a story this week from TMZ that his housekeeper came in because she had heard him fall, asked him hey, can we get you to the doctor? You can get you checked out. And he refused. He did not want medical attention. He said, it's my birthday. I want to focus on my birthday. I don't want to go to the hospital right now. So that was on Friday. And then the next morning, the housekeeper found him on the floor in his room next to his bed, unconscious. So called 911. By the time they got there, they pronounced him dead. There has been some reports saying that there's no foul play involved here, and that it seems like it's just a case of potentially like a cardiac arrest or something like that. That was what the call was for, cardiac arrest. So anyway, going back to this interview, people have a whole big old long interview, an exclusive about him, and how even though he's been out of the spotlight for the last 10 years, he's actually been responding to fan emails. He's been calling fans on the phone, people that have issues, problems, that they've been writing him, and he writes 100 emails a day to all of his fans. So even though publicly he's not out there, behind the scene, he was still interacting with a lot of his fans and people close to him. And that was what was still bringing him so much joy in his life, was helping people, just not in front of cameras.
Yeah. Listen, I said, should I post that? I know you posted your photo of Shannon Doherty. I was going to post my photo of Richard Simmons in the group.
Absolutely. Post
Yeah.
that photo. And then the other thing he said was he was still, even though we weren't seeing him out in public, he was still going out in public, but it was just he was in disguise.
Dude, how'd you not see him in disguise? I wish there's more I hate to say it, like waiting at his door just to see. You got to see him in disguise. You see him at the grocery store. So pretty impressive that he was able to kind of go out in disguise and
100%.
not be recognized. And then also,
and then I got to talk Shannon Doherty. Her doctor actually revealing that she was not ready to leave this earth. But her oncologist, who has been very public with her, they've gone to red carpet events. I mean, he's been a big part of her cancer battle and the journey. He ended up doing a little interview saying that her final days, she was surrounded by a lot of love, family, friends, a really close-knit group of people. And she was just saying she's not ready to go. She loved life. She loved her, this time on the planet, and she was so happy, but wasn't ready to leave, which just breaks my heart, knowing that she had to say goodbye and she did not want to. She fought. That was the one thing that, even through the multiple rounds of chemo and how miserable it was, that she never thought for a second that she wasn't going to do it. She wanted to do everything she could to be alive today. And that is really sad for me.
Dax, I made a mistake on our midweek episode. I said that I never met Shannon Doherty, but I heard she was really nice. But someone sent me a video and I was like, you interviewed her. I was like, oh my God, I interviewed Shannon Doherty. I forgot. And I saw the interview. I was like, oh my God, I do remember now. And she was very nice, but I met her once. She's very sweet. And
isn't that funny? There's so many, because I've had so many interactions with celebrities and this over the year, I have forgotten a lot of the people I've met until, again, like that moment comes up, or someone says, hey, do you remember when we went to, this club in Hollywood and we ran into so-and-so? I'm like, I had literally erased that memory from my brain until you mentioned it right then. That happens to me a lot.
Yeah. So very cool that I got to meet her, and I was like, I didn't think I met her, but I've met so many people that I just kind of, and I say it not, I know it sounds such a dick, but it's just kind of, it's crazy when I look back. I'm like, man, what I've done. Cause sometimes I don't really take it. I don't know. Sometimes I don't realize. I get down on where I'm at in my career, and then I'm like, no, I did some cool shit. I kind of did some really amazing stuff. So, and then one other passing this week, we have to mention is Dr. Ruth, who was the famous sex therapist that was always on the talk shows, always would shock people when she went on shows because they wouldn't expect a little old woman to kind of say the things that she did on TV. And
she made talking about sex normal, and that's what I think people were. It was during a time where people didn't talk about it, and she's coming out there saying, no, you should talk about this as an honest conversation. But she died at the age of 96. So
that is our top 10 stories of the week. Thank you guys for watching. If you're watching on Red Coral, make sure you check out Red Coral. It's a really, really cool kind of place to kind of see visually our content. You can also watch us on YouTube, but we're also on TikTok, Facebook, private Facebook group called Off the Record. You guys should be in it because we're in it. You can ask us questions. We kind of talk to each other. Really nice, unique community. Follow me at Adam Glyn. Follow Dax Holt at Dax Holt. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Guys, hope you liked that video. We got a lot more where that came from.
Hit that bell, like, subscribe, share with a friend. The best you do to support us is really doing that. And we really need the money because we need hair gel.